CRM Show, we are joined by someone who's built growth stories across banking, telecom, and now food tech. Sidharth Bhakoo, from GE Money and Royal Bank of Scotland to 7 years at Vodafone and now leading Swiggy's food marketplace as Chief Business Officer. Sidharth's career is all about scaling teams, building strong sales engines, and understanding customers at a deep ground level. His experience building one of India's most complex marketplaces gives him a unique perspective on customer experiences and sustainable growth. Sidharth, thank you so much for joining me in this episode of the CRM Show. It's such a pleasure to have you here at Zoho campus and also at our set.
The pleasure is all mine.
So Sidharth, before I delve into the questions, I have one question to ask you. How is Sidharth at work versus Sidharth not at work? How would you define yourself?
I would say I'm pretty different. I'm very serious at work.
Okay.
But I'm very fun-loving when I'm not at work.
Okay.
I try to intermix the two at times.
Okay.
But there's a fine line that I draw.
So the agenda of this episode is to see that intermixed version of you who is also working, but at the same time, you also get to see a lot of your personality and also from that your experience.
Definitely, definitely.
So the first question I want to ask you, I went through your LinkedIn profile and it's a very good mix of different industries. See, you've been in banking, which is super structured. You've been in telecom, which is distribution heavy. And now it's Swiggy, which is a high velocity data driven food tech, right? So huge learnings and different experiences across a lot of industries. Not every sales or CX leader would have had this experience. So talk to me about your experience and how has your career journey been?
So it's been over 20 years now
Okay.
that I've been working, and I've been fortunate enough to get good roles within good companies. I obviously started off with banking and financial services in the early part of my career. And very soon I realized that that was not for me.
Okay.
I wasn't really having fun with it. And I thought that there would be some point where I'll peak out. So something else was interesting me at that time. But in banking, I picked up account management skills because that was predominantly the roles that I'd done in banking, right? And then I moved to Vodafone, where I was a part of the team that was setting up the SME vertical. And there the primary role was to set up distribution at scale across different circles, and how do you sort of reach out to SMEs with various telecom solutions and all that, right? So I did that for quite some time. Then I started managing enterprise as a vertical with Vodafone, where you look at not just SMEs, but government vertical, global enterprises and all of that. Did that for another 4-5 years. And between banking and telecom, I think I had picked up account management in a big way. I had picked up distribution, B2B acquisition in a big way. And then Swiggy as an opportunity came along. And it was pretty interesting at that time because Swiggy was a good mix of B2B experience, which I already had on the restaurant side. But it was also food tech, it was direct to consumer in that way. And that was something interesting for me to learn. And I had actually gotten into it from a point of view to learn and see where this goes, right?
Okay.
And the good part was that it was still, Swiggy was in operations for only 3 years. But within 3 years, they've already made a name for themselves. They were already a consumer love brand.
Right.
Right. So I got into that with everything. And I think it was a lot different than what I had been into earlier.
Right.
From a traditional sense of companies, when you work with a Royal Bank of Scotland or Vodafone. Swiggy, when you came in, it was a very, very fast moving organization, right? It was an organization where we were growing every day. And since consumer comes first as a core value that we have, we were learning from consumers every day. So one thing that I realized very early days in Swiggy is that for me to be successful in the roles and the charters that I'm managing, one has to be super, super agile.
Okay.
And that is what I sort of brought forth in everything that I did. And I think that is a core value that I really imbibe, which is basically to say move fast, break barriers, deliver results. And I think that's what I've tried to sort of inculcate within the organization also in all the teams that I've led. The one constant thing I think across all these three for me has been that I personally am a strong believer that you have to create big lofty goals for yourself, right?
Okay.
Until the time you don't have that, it doesn't inspire you,
Right.
And it's not just creating the lofty goal, but it's also having time-bound milestones how to get to that goal, right?
Right.
If you're climbing a mountain, the goal is always to summit the peak. But when you start trekking the mountain, first 2 days you don't even look at the peak. You know it's somewhere out there,
Yeah.
right? But you basically create milestones every day that I'll get through that waterfall, I'll get through that next cliff.
Yeah.
And then finally the mountain starts approaching and the dream starts getting realized.
Correct.
So I think from a leadership principle, one thing I've learned is that always have a goal which is audacious, which inspires you, and how you can sort of transform that goal and create an inspiring vision for your team. And I think that's what I've done across all my 3 stints.
Okay, your journey with Swiggy is like you're stepping your career ladder as Swiggy is also growing, right?
Yeah.
You've been an AVP and then VP and then now you're the CBO of Swiggy.
Right.
If young Sidharth was to think at one point, maybe someone working in a banking industry who absolutely hated the fact that they have to do this, be in this domain, what would his thought have been? Do you think that he would have known that at some point, kuch to bada kar lenge, and today you are the CBO of Swiggy, one of the biggest brands, well-known brands in India. So tell me about how a young Sidharth would have reacted to it and how you are feeling about it today.
I definitely knew I would do something good,
Huh.
but I had never dreamt of that I would be doing this,
Okay.
right? Where my career finally sort of got me, whatever I navigated over the course of years. I think, I don't think young Sidharth would have probably seen this happening. But since childhood only, I've been very focused in terms of, I've been an athlete, I've been into sports right from the beginning.
Right.
So that way, I am fairly disciplined. I know that, I at least need to create some things that excite me, and which is what I've done always. And whenever I feel that something is not interesting me, then I'll try and, change course. But as a younger Sidharth, I don't think I would have seen, because I also had other interests at that time. I also wanted to get into acting at some point. So I've auditioned for films and all during my college days.
Oh, nice.
So I've done all of that as well.
Okay.
But couldn't have imagined.
Right. When I'm seeing your journey, I see that you've been in legacy processes, legacy companies a lot, where the systems are set and the processes are predefined, predictive. There's not much of a ups and downs. But when you're coming to a hyper growth food tech company, which is again a brand that everybody knows, and it's always under the speculation, it's always under the eyes of the people, everybody knows it. So what does the sales strategy actually look like for a company like Swiggy? How did you design it and how is it all going about? Talk to me about the sales behind how Swiggy works.
See, essentially, I think Swiggy to a large extent is still an offline business.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have a large universe of restaurant partners who actually give the end product which the consumers want to consume.
Correct.
We provide the convenience. So one part of the sales strategy is that how do you cover for this large restaurant community, right? How do you have different sales profiles who engage with different types of restaurants? And the engagement could be low touch to high touch. But what's the right span? What's the kind of right sales profiles? And what is the maximum coverage that you can drive across the 700 cities that we are present?
Okay.
And that's pure base core of what Swiggy does today, right? Because whatever happens down in the cities is ultimately what you see on the app as a consumer, right? Second, obviously, is the part of what does the consumer want? What does the consumer need? And how do you overlay the consumer relevance on top of what you've built in cities, right? I'll give you some examples. So there are customers who may want certain restaurants to be serviceable at all times, even when there's rain, even when there's stress. There'll be some customers who will be valuing pricing and offers more than others.
Correct.
Then there'll be some customers who will be valuing reliability more, that if you promised me a certain time of delivery, you're delivering within that time.
Yeah.
And certain customers manage speed. So one needs to clearly map out that what are the various customer needs that are there, cohort them across your entire scale that you're running. And within those, in the right opportunity at times, how do you drive that convenience? So for example, for value conscious consumers, we created something known as a 99 store. And what is a 99 store is essentially that for any value conscious consumer who wants to engage with food delivery but doesn't do it because finds it expensive. So we today provide a curation of meals which are below 99 rupees. So it can be a meal at a South Indian meal at 49, a North Indian meal at 79. And when you come every day, you get those meals curated from the restaurants that you love. Right. So essentially we map out what the consumer needs are, and then we map out what will be the right product fit to cater to that need as a proposition, and then we try and scale it across the country. The last thing that works on top of this is the consumer relevance. What is your behavior? What is your transaction pattern? So that we surface the most relevant things to you.
Right.
That's how we work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're growing verticals for Swiggy also,
Yeah.
which means India today is not just one market, but it's a micro market in itself.
Correct.
There are a lot of customers who have varied preferences. Say a person in Mumbai would be able to afford so and so amount. Maybe a person in UP or MP would not want to spend that much. Spend pattern also changes. Customer behavior, customers' taste, interest, taste buds. So in the north, maybe a chaat would be more spicy, but in the south, it's a gunpowder, right? So eating habits, preferences, everything is changing across so fast. And how do you navigate through that and try to still scale the entire process?
When you're operating in cities, the first priority is that you have the local flavor built in. So which are the local legendary restaurants? Are they available on the platform? Are you getting the right cuisine represented on the platform? All that is there, right? Now, discovery plays a key role. Now, not every customer is the same. Like you said, for some customers, I'm willing to pay 50 rupees more, but I can get food from a restaurant which is 10 kilometers away. And for one customer, even paying 10 rupees is sometimes not on, right?
Correct.
So, discovery plays a key role where for us, today, we segment consumers into multiple various sub-segments, right? Almost, if I have to give you a number, today we have almost 37 consumer segments. Discovery plays an important role where one consumer will see things which are valuable to him, and the other consumer will see completely different things. So we build relevancy in that sense. So if I am, for example, let's say not very conscious of affordability, but I want a great service and I want food coming from gourmet set of restaurants. So most of my listing will be actually gourmet forward. If today I'm a college student and I'm always up for a bargain, I'm always looking for a deal, 99 store will be visible to me. So you create discovery basis the user needs, so that the user exactly knows when they're coming, they're getting what they want, and then they place the order and go. So that's how we build it.
What's the biggest challenge today in food marketplace, especially when you're dealing with B2B and also at the same time you're also dealing with customers, but the relationship, partnership, etc. happens via restaurants. Today in this competitive landscape, what do you think is the biggest challenge of marketplaces, especially in the food tech domain?
See, I think the biggest challenge that all of us keep working with every day is that how do you make the category grow even faster? Today, if you compare China with India, China is almost 40x the Indian food delivery market size. And it is also growing at the same pace at that base. So one thing that all of us within the food delivery ecosystem are always looking at, how do you create certain products and solutions which can continue to drive momentum in the category, right? And I'll give you another example. What we've done very recently is that we've launched something called Toying as a product. Now, what does Toying do? It's essentially a product which is catering to Gen Zs. And today, Gen Zs, they like to explore. They also, probably in many cases, because they are early jobbers or still in college, their propensity to pay is not too much, and but they would want to engage with the platform a lot more, right? Some of them would also find online delivery expensive, for example, because you have certain charges that come in, etc., etc.
Correct.
So Toying as a proposition simply is that it's a curation of restaurants where you get the lowest item price guaranteed. So if a college student was to go out and eat at a restaurant, he will get the same item at either the same price or lesser, which is dramatically different from what today we do as Swiggy or our competition does, right? Now, that's again a concept which is consumer backward, where for users who are finding online delivery expensive, how do you create an ecosystem where they can come back and transact 4 times, 5 times, 6 times a month versus a 1 time a quarter, right?
Right.
So I think that's the whole area that we have been challenged, and I think all the efforts that we are putting in terms of the development of technology, etc., is going in spaces where we can further turbocharge the category growth.
Okay. With Swiggy being such a huge brand in the country, there are a lot of customer interactions, millions of customer interactions that would happen every week.
Yeah.
So every customer interaction is a touch point, and it could either be a delight or it could also lead to a frustration. So according to you, what defines a beautiful customer experience?
See, our business is huge, right? And it's a hyper local business. Today, we do business across thousands of customer geohashes. Now, like I said, one thing which is different in Swiggy compared to where I have worked earlier is that there are too many metrics to manage.
Yeah.
Right? If in Vodafone I was used to driving just 5 to 6 key metrics, here the metrics was 100.
Okay.
Now, how do you sort of create some sense of them? So one is, like I said, some customers prefer affordability, some customers want speed, some customers want reliability, etc. So one important thing for one to manage the business efficiently and the customer experience is that you need to define industrial metrics,
Okay.
right? Which basically tell you that for this customer, what does good service mean? Right? For a person who's looking at speed, what does that mean? What is good service like? If a person is looking at serviceability, what does that mean? When you define these metrics, then you sort of create a threshold that if it goes below that threshold, there should be an alarm.
Right.
Right? Now, what do we do is once we create this industrial metrics, we overlay this into the thousands and thousands of geohashes that we operate in. And that's how this whole complex network is managed every day, wherein every day across those metrics, something is triggered and the responsible person has to then do something about it.
Correct.
And if there is successively that instance is sort of, playing up again, let's say in Bombay and Worli, something is broken successively, then a skip level will also have to look into it.
Right.
So industrial metrics ensures that the core is delivering good service, right? But that's not sufficient in itself, because that'll build your core and you'll continue to improve. But you also have to take care of tail events. Tail events is where something is egregiously wrong.
Correct.
Right, and that is why today we have feedback mechanisms where, for example, leaders listening into service calls, leaders looking into the top 5 worst deliveries that would have probably happened in the day.
Okay.
And when you study these mechanisms, when you have a feedback loop, you will either see some patterns emerge, and if a pattern is emerging, then you address that pattern. Or standalone, some cases where there is some issue or the other, you see how you address those cases and gratify the customers. But it's a mixture of how do you manage the industrial metrics and also learn from the tail events so that you can reduce the tail events significantly over time.
Okay.
And that's how you deliver seamless, flawless experience, right?
Okay. What's one thing that you tell your team in sales? Don't do this. There are a lot of do's, but there are a few don'ts that you are usually very particular about. You tell your sales or your CRM team that, or a customer experience team, that these are an absolute no for me. You can never do this.
I'll break this into 2 parts,
Sure.
right? Firstly, starting with any proposition or vertical, I believe that the most important thing to define is what are the core tenets of that proposition, right? And the main part of defining tenets is that you also define what will not be a part of it.
Okay.
Right? So, for example, if we launch Bolt as a service, which is 10-minute food delivery, right? Then you clearly say that these dish families or cuisines will not be a part of it, because you can never deliver that kind of food in 10-15 minutes.
Correct.
So, you will tell your sales team that when you are curating for Bolt, please exclude these completely.
Okay.
Focus on the right curation.
Okay.
That's just an example, right? If I'm building Toying today, Toying, again, the core tenet is that the item price has to be either equal to the offline dining price or lesser.
Okay.
If it is more, it will not show up on the app. So you are basically defining core tenets and you're clearly telling your sales teams that this is what works in the purview of that product. and please go all out in getting that on. But these are the 10 things which should not go at all, so that they're absolutely clear from day one. So because we don't want to be in a place where we've gone ahead, built a proposition, and later realized that 30% or 40% of that is probably not relevant, right?
Okay.
So at least that's how we sort of work on it.
Okay, how are you looking forward to AI revolutionizing food tech? How is your team working on making sure that AI is as much as part of, because we always had personalization, etc.,
Yeah.
but it's gone one step further as well.
Right.
So in the food tech industry, it's going to definitely revolutionize. Now, I want your bird's eye view on how it's going to happen and what are the things that you're working on and you're excited about.
So on the sales side, what I'm really excited about is the level of automation
Okay.
which is possible for any sales team member that we have in the network, for them to have access at the click of a button, or almost like a chatbot, right? You converse with a chatbot and you say that I want to understand how the business of this restaurant partner has done over the 6 months in comparison to comparative restaurants in the same area. And AI should be able to tell you these are the trends that we are seeing. These are the 4 to 5 things that the restaurant partner should implement for him to catch on to the category growth.
Okay.
Right? So on AI, we are doing a lot of stuff on the sales enablement side, where both on growth analytics, there is immense knowledge that is available to the partners and the sales POCs to work, right? Then on the consumer side, again, how we are building AI is that, for example, see in food, you first see the food and then you consume it, right? And you eat with your eyes.
Yeah.
So we are again seeing how we can build AI to create immersive experiences, where you visualize food in a more immersive way than what it is today, right? So can you create video snippets of a sambar being made in a kitchen,
Okay.
which is it's a lot better for any customer to sort of witness that.
It's
and
very
then
tempting.
very tempting, right? So we are trying to use AI to figure out how we build more immersive journeys for our consumers, where they can actually see the food that they want to consume and engage with it. So that's on the discovery side. Then I think today AI we are also deploying in our engineering and tech efforts, in terms of that how do you enable your coding and things like when you're building a product, how do you reach the market fast, and how do you improve your efficiencies by 20-30%? If something was being rolled out in 8 weeks, can you now do it in 3 weeks? So these are the various fronts on which we are using AI. And I think we're just getting started, and it is so exciting. In fact, what we do today is that we have AI hackathons across teams
Okay.
every quarter.
Okay.
And it's not necessarily that you have to do something related to work.
Okay.
You can even create a game of your own.
Ah, okay.
Or if you want to manage household chores, you can create something on AI which will enable you. So we're doing those fun hackathons where employees are coming together, and they are engaging with AI, they're engaging with those tools. And it's really impressive the kind of things that people have come up with over the last 6 months, because a lot of it we've just taken up as projects for us also to implement.
Okay.
So that's how we are trying to drive it.
Okay, so I have a question about the declining sales. So let's say we are all always happy to see that the sales is growing, but there are also times where one quarter will not be like the second quarter. So in a graph where the sales trend has gone drastically down, what are certain key measures that you immediately take, or you get your team to start working on to get back up fast, or to understand what the problem, what the issue is? Maybe if you can give us some example, that will be great.
Yeah. See, fortunately, we've not been in a state where our sales have been declining.
Okay.
It's always been growing, but like I said, right, we are always thinking of how to grow it faster.
Correct. Yeah.
I think again, see, the baseline is that you need to have brilliant basics across all hyperlocals that you're running.
Okay.
Right? And what is brilliant basics? That, for example, if there is a geography, all the restaurants should be enabled in the geography. Those restaurants should be giving the right offers to the consumers to come and transact. The menu hygiene needs to be perfect. You have enough number of riders to ensure that the delivery is happening in a certain time. So One is your sales will not break or decline if your brilliant basics is solid. So we ensure that our overall core metrics are more or less always in green at a base level. Second is there are periods when, for example, after a festival, suddenly there's a decline, which is natural organic decline that happens, but we still figure out which are the kind of users who started transacting lesser than what they earlier used to. Are there some patterns that we are seeing? And then we package, specific campaigns to reach out to them and target them. But essentially, like I said, you need to have something for every user. And I think Swiggy has been innovating ahead of the curve there. So, for example, Bolt is a 10-minute delivery that we launched for consumers who value speed. Because today, consumer expectation on speed is way different than what it was previously, right? Earlier, a 40-minute delivery was okay. But today, even a 20-minute seems like it's a little late, right? So I think, how do you give that to the customer? With 99 store, again, you're offering a certain value consistently, and then you're creating habit formation, right? That's what you're doing. Another cool thing that we've done recently is that today a lot of office goers, as you know, you're one of them, you are pressed for time, right? So your lunch has to be quick. What do? You don't have time. So you also want to consume something which is fast. You don't need cognitive load to make a decision that I will order from I don't know where, etc., etc. And something which is very convenient. You can just grab in one hand and eat, right, while you're working. So we've launched something known as Desk Eats. So Desk Eats is basically a proposition which today is visible across 7,000 tech parks in the country, where essentially you get the consumers to discover such meals, which are one-hand grabbies, value combos, right? So you know that, okay, I have no time, let me go to Desk Eats and I will just do the job for you, right? So it's about how do you understand these use cases and how do you attack a proposition which can sort of create some habit, and then your sales are not going to decline. And that's what we've been doing. Understanding various consumers, their behaviors, and how can you sort of replicate those through your products on the app. And if you're able to do that well, then you will see that the users keep coming back. Your retention, your frequency keeps going up. And that's been our objective.
Okay. I'm very curious to know just this from you. This is the last question that I'm going to ask you. Which is, I have interviewed a lot of CMOs and also CSOs and sales leaders, etc. I usually ask them, do you go to your store and experience customer and how the interaction happens? Now I have the same question in my mind. Have you experienced being the delivery person for Swiggy and also being the, being at the doorstep of the customer and also getting the order from the restaurant? Have you tried it?
Yes. So we have a leadership mandate. That in a quarter, everybody must spend at least a day doing deliveries. And we do that, and we learn, and we just also understand what are the challenges that the delivery executives face today. And that also gives us a lot of, again, it's a feedback loop for us to sort of bring back challenges which are prevalent and how do you address it.
Right.
And I think that is a key success factor in any organization. The amount of time that you spend out there with your customer, with your partner, with your delivery executive. I'll give you an example. Again, 4 to 5 years back, Swiggy as a company was focused on building the marketplace in the top cities, and cities beyond 100 were not a big focus area, which was a decision at that point in time, good or bad. I won't comment on that. But later we realized that that was an error on our part, and we should focus on city number 100 to 600. And essentially, how did we go about doing it? When we changed this mindset, basically all the leaders in the organization, we made each leader a custodian of one city. So somebody is a custodian of Pondicherry, somebody is a custodian of Meerut. And all the leaders were then asked to travel to these cities, spend 3-4 days, just be there in the market, understand what is happening, learn from the market. All these 100-120 leaders came back. Over the next 1 month, we had almost 85 active work streams that were identified basis these market visits. And basis that, we were able to scale these cities dramatically over the next 12 months. And basically, what did we do? Nothing. We just were there in the field, out there in the market, meeting customers, meeting restaurant partners, and just taking feedback, honest feedback from them.
Okay, wonderful. After this video, I think I hope a lot of people recognize you. And next quarter, if somebody gets a delivery from someone named Sidharth, check if it is the CBO of Swiggy himself delivering it to you. That's something I want to tell our audience. So with that, we have come to the end of the main segment.
Okay.
I have a rapid fire segment coming up to you next. What's one mistake you feel sales teams make far too often?
I think not being there in the market enough.
Okay.
Right, a lot of sales teams just get consumed by a lot of operational work that happens in the back end, and that takes away from their time when they can be with the partner, or even in whether it's in Vodafone banking. I think people can be a lot more with the customer, and I think largely I see this as a area of opportunity for a lot of places.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question is the most underrated skill in modern sales.
I think just showing up every day is a big thing.
Okay.
And people don't understand the value of that.
Okay.
It has exponential compounding gains. If you show up every day in terms of what you have to do in the market, it just changes the fortunes of any company.
Consistency. Okay. Third question is a city in India that always surprises you with customer behavior.
Actually, lots of cities have given us lots of surprises.
Okay.
But I think one city that surprised us in a big way 5-6 years back was Kota.
Okay.
And that time Swiggy was operating in 14-15 cities, and we were just trying to expand, and we weren't sure whether small cities have the potential or not. And Kota is one city which we launched, and I think in a span of 4 weeks it touched 10,000 OPD orders per day.
Oh, okay.
Which was dramatically high, because when we did any other city, we didn't get this kind of a response.
Yeah.
And that gave us confidence that, in India, there are pockets you may not even know of the city, but opportunity exists. And that gave us confidence to actually expand into other geographies way faster than what we were earlier doing.
Okay, wonderful. Next question is your favorite definition of customer experience in just one line.
Reliability.
Okay, so with that, we come to the end of rapid fire. Super honest answers. And with the same enthusiasm, I want you to move to the have you ever segment also. I'll ask you, have you ever? And in case if you have done it, you can show the yes placard.
Okay.
And if you haven't done it, you can show the no. And if you would rather not want to answer, you can show the smiley.
Done.
Okay. First question for your have you ever is, have you ever spotted a potential leader on your team in the first few minutes of meeting them? Yes? Okay. So you can answer if you want.
I am able to assess a person in the first 5 minutes of the conversation with them. I don't need a 1-hour interview
Really?
to understand a person.
Okay, nice.
I think that's a skill that I have, but this has happened so many times.
Okay. Next question. Have you ever walked away from a high value deal because it didn't fit your long-term vision? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And next question is, have you ever changed your complete GTM approach overnight because of a sudden market shift?
Yes.
Do you want to tell one line on that?
You keep understanding what competition is doing in the market, right?
Okay.
And in our business, it's very important because reaction time is literally the same day.
Correct.
And this also happens many times when competition is running a flagship campaign at a national level, which is suddenly driving a lot of demand for them. You have to sort of immediately react and come up with your own option. And I think this happens equally for both of us through the course of last 6-7 years, right? I think in food, it's very, very common.
Okay. Last question for the have you ever is, have you ever hired a salesperson purely because their hustle overweighed their experience?
Yeah.
Yes, many times.
Many times. I think at least the people that I look out for when hiring is, number one has to have a very solution-oriented mindset.
Okay.
Right? One has to be the driver and not the passenger. And as long as you can gauge those qualities in a leader, they will, irrespective of the experience that they have, they will still deliver well.
Okay, wonderful. So with that, we come to the end of the entire episode.
Thank
It
you.
was such a warm and very honest episode is what I would say. Very clear and precise answers I got from you. Thank you so much. It was such an honor to host you here on the episode 8 of CRM Show.
Thank you so much, Harshini. It was a pleasure being here. I loved having the chat with you.
Thank you.